Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to week 2 of our month-long webinar on MetaTrader 4. Everybody say hello to me in the room. Let me see if you guys hear me and if you guys seeing the images. Let me see if I'm getting questions here. Okay, good afternoon. Good morning, good evening, right? To everybody in Asia. Hi, guys. Sound is good. Very, very good. Okay. So we're in good shape. Let's start. We're going to give it a few minutes for people to straddle in. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I have. Hang on a second. Let me see if I got this. Yeah. Okay. I'm sending you guys in the chat box the link to MT4 downloads. This is the link to download 8 caps MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5 platform. If you haven't done so already, please do so. That's the platform we're going to be using all throughout this course as our demo platform. Most of you, I assume, already have this, so you can practice along with me on all the various functions that I'm going to show you. Okay? We didn't quite yesterday or last week. We got so behind that we didn't quite go through all the functions. So I'm going to try and catch up a little bit. But before I catch up, I just want to give you an outline of everything we're going to try and do in this lesson. I'm going to, as always, going to just take it nice and slow. Any questions, of course, everybody can answer them, because we're going to build this to a full, comprehensive knowledge of the software set. So in week 2, we're going to focus on just 2 key functions of MetaTrader 4: trading and charting. Let me see if I get. By the way, everybody's seeing my big black mouse cursor, because last week I had complaints that my mouse cursor was invisible. So now I hope it's much more visible and you guys are seeing it. I've made it as big as possible. Let me know if this is good for you, if you're able to see it sharply, because I want to be able to to use it going on. Okay, so we're going to focus on the following things in this particular lesson: trading, various order types, how to create risk control over all of our trades, and chart configuration. Okay, I'm going to show you how to trade from 4 different places in MetaTrader: from the market watch, from the ribbon, from the chart, and from the quote panel. And order types: market, stop entry, and limit entry. People are still having a hard time with my cursor. I don't know what to do, guys. There's nothing I can do. I have it at huge size, and so at this point, there's nothing much I can do about making it bigger. I can try and take a look at how to fix it next time, but this is the best I can do right now. I know for some reason it just seems to be not visible. It doesn't much matter for right now. We'll see if it's on the platform you guys are having a hard time. I'll go slow with it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do quick entry. I'm going to show you how to configure charts in terms of creating background. We did this last time, but I'm going to go through this again because it's a very, very important component of learning the platform. And then finally, I'm going to show you how to create templates and savings and profiles, which is truly a very, very, very cool thing that will allow you to create to basically save a whole bunch of charts and be able to keep that permanently in your space. So these are the questions. These are the things that we're going to review. But before we do this, let me just escape out of here. Go to my platform. Okay. So this is our demo platform that we're working on. But before we do this, I wanted to just talk to you about the 5 major parts that we talked about last time, which is your market watch window, your chart window, your navigator window. Navigator window contains your account login information, your indicators folder, your expert advisor folder, your scripts folder. All of these things we're going to be talking about next time. And your trade blotter, which is on the bottom, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 components. There's one other component that is not visible, but is very useful, very cool. It's called the data window, right? And the data window, you can go into the view box and pull it up either by going data window or Control D. And so this is a data window. And data window comes in very, very handy, especially when we have a whole bunch of indicators on our chart. Right now, the data window is just simply going to tell you the timing of the bar, the open, the close, the high, and the volume of the particular bar. But if we have indicators, it will give you all sorts of indicator settings, and that's really, really valuable to keep an eye on. So if you'd like to have, I always have the 5 pieces, not just the 4 pieces, but the 5 pieces. I have the data window. It's Control D to remove it, Control D to add it. And I like to keep it this way. So this was one little item last week that we had forgotten, or we just didn't have time to cover. So hopefully this now covers. These are the 5 key windows of MetaTrader 4. Just kind of to let you go. Okay, so let's see if I have any questions so far. Okay. All right. Let me see. I'm actually trying to see if I'm looking at my own window here to see if how big. I don't know why the cursor is just not visible. Anyway, be that as it may, let's move on to the next point. And I think I'm gonna, we're gonna start with charts first, because we did a lot of work on charts, but I want to go through the basic chart setups. As I told you last time, I really like a clean white chart with a white background. And my candles, I sort of, you can make the candles green, but green really doesn't pop up very well on the screen. So I use blue for my up candles and red for my down candles as a basic structure. But if you don't like to use candlesticks, if you like to use bars, you can use simple open, high, low bars. Or if you want to use line charts, you can use those as well. Very few people use that, but it's fine. I mean, it depends a lot on the kind of trading you do and the kind of visualization you do. If you're a long-term trader, sometimes just having a line chart is good enough. You can see, as a matter of fact, the interesting thing about the line chart is it eliminates almost everything. And when you eliminate almost everything, sometimes you can see the clearest things, because your eyes are not distracted by a whole bunch of unnecessary up and down movements. So up to you. But the point being is that your ability to see these things or to change these things is simply changed right here on the ribbon. You can. I'm clicking this button over here to change it to the bars right after the auto trading. I'm clicking the candle button to change it to candles, and I'm clicking the line bar to change it to line bars. And obviously, you can if you right click this, right, you can go to properties, and this will give you the chart properties of how thick and how much of a background you want it to be, and all sorts of other things that you want to configure. On the comment side, I'm trying to see if there's anything here that I need to fix. One of the things that I like to do, as I said, is I like to get rid of the grid, which is this, and I just click on the grid right now. I wonder if let me see if trying to see if I Control G. I wonder why this is not popping up right now as my grid look. For some reason. Oh, maybe because I have a template on this thing. Okay, it doesn't matter. The point being is that you know, I wanted just to show you the general chart capabilities of the set, and you guys can go in here and change anything you like. You could, for example, let's say if I wanted to launch a new chart. Let's say I'm going to do a chart window, and I want to change the properties here to background being, let's say color scheme being yellow on black, like this. And I'll say okay. And this will change the color scheme completely to something that a lot of people really like, which I just can't stand because it's too jarring for me. I like a white look, but there are a lot of people that like the black look against the background. You can change it around any way you like by going into properties, right-clicking, going into properties, changing every component of this, and feel free to to play around with this any way you like. I'm going to hit cancel. I'll just get rid of this chart, and I'll stay on the white charts. So charting itself, sort of the basic premise of how you want to configure your chart, how you want the background to look, whether you want to use candles, lines, or bars. That's all up to you. It's nice and clean and clear. And as I said, if you don't like the way mine look, you're obviously DW is saying to me, green red is bad for colorblind. So then, yeah. And by the way, you can use the cursor. Somebody's asking me, can we use the cursor? I think that. Let me see which. I'm trying to. This is Marco Watch. It's a good question, actually. I'm trying to figure out where I get my. Great volumes. I'm trying. It's actually a great question. I totally forgot where the cursor is because I never use it. Tools. Oh. All right. I have to come back to you on the cursor function because I actually totally forgot how to do the cursor function because I never actually used the cursor function. I wonder where is it's actually a great question. Tools. Okay. Sorry. So let's move on to the much more important aspect of how do we trade from MetaTrader 4, right? Somebody's asking me, yeah, I know what the cursor is down just like the cross. For some reason, the cursor is not showing up on this chart right now for me as well. So I'll try to research and find out why. Maybe it's something to do with broadcasting or something like that I'm having a hard time with the cursor. But there's a couple of questions coming at me. Is the data the same on different broker MT4 packages, and will the candles be identical if compared? No. The FX market is different on every broker, right? They're tiny. The competition amongst prices is very small, but it's very distinct. That's why we'll talk about this later on. Every single platform, every single robot, every single indicator will be different on every single platform. Now, the bigger the time frame, if you go from 1 minute to 5 minutes to 1 hour to 1 day, the smaller the difference. But there will be tiny little differences, a tenth of a pip, a half a pip, sometimes even a whole pip, depending on how the broker's quote. So no, that's the nature of the market. There's nothing you can do. This is not a centralized market. Every broker is going to have a marginally different value, and you have to just accept that fact. Okay, let me see, there's a couple more questions here. Let me just get bigger on your questions so I can really see them. Okay, somebody's saying they couldn't change the chart at the same time as I did last week. You could, just play around with it yourself. I don't know what to tell you. I'm happy to. We'll happy at the end of when we get to week 4. You know, if you guys have issues, we'll do like screen sharing, and I'll be happy to see what problems you guys have on your charts. But we're going to use, as long as you're using this software. If you're using somebody else's broker software, there's nothing I can help you. Don't even bother asking me. But if you're using the 8cap software, which is the demo software in which we're all standardizing, everything I'm doing, you should be able to do as well. So if you have any problems, let me know. Okay, so let's get interested in the single thing that matters the most, trading, okay? Now, one thing I had you guys do last week, I believe, let me just double check. If we go into, I want everybody to go into tools. I want everybody to go to options. And I want everybody to go into trade, this tab over here. And I want everybody to have one-click trading clicked. Okay? Everybody sees that? And say okay. That's order number 1. We're just gonna do that. And the reason why we can do that is because once you have that enabled, you can do the following. You can just literally click on here, and boom, you're able to be in trade. Suddenly I'm long pound dollar at 64. Do you see that? I clicked on the buy side, and I got long pound dollar. Okay. Now I'm going to click over here on this little X button, and boom, I'm out of the trade. Okay, everybody sees, let me do this again, one more time, so you guys can see this. This is just one way, but it's just an easy way for you to see this. I'm going to buy cable. I bought it, one lot at 65, and now I'm just going to close it out. Okay, all right. So a one-click trading allows you to do this, this type of process. Just simply, buy and sell. Now we're going to go back to the tools box. Okay, I'm going to go back into options, and I'm going to show you a couple of very, very important risk control factors that you can do. You see where it says size by default? Size by default. The single greatest error, the single greatest source of loss, the single greatest source of accounts getting blown up is size by default. That is the mistakes that people make by creating a particular size that's just too big for their account. Let's, for argument's sake, we're gonna set the default size to the smallest size possible. I think we can actually set this to 0.1. Okay, I'm going to set this to 0.1. Say okay. Okay. Now, this size over here in the box is set to 1.0. But if I were to open up a new window, you see how the size now has changed to 0.1, right? So now instead of buying a full lot, I'm actually buying the tiniest of tiny lots. Instead of opening trade being $5, $10 against me, it's only 2 or 3 cents against me. Okay. So one very important thing I like to do is set the default to the smallest size possible. Because just like with cooking, you can always add salt, but you can't take it away. You cannot take it away. Meaning that if you traded too small for the size that you wanted, you can always add more size to your trade. But if you entered into a trade huge and already in a big loss, your only choice is to just get out. And most people freeze up, and that's pretty much 99% of every person that loses all their money is they make too big a trade for their account, and very often they don't mean to. They do this because their software is configured too large for their account. One of the little insidious little tricks that MetaTrader does on you is it by default configures the account to one standard lot size. If you have a $50,000 account or a $100,000 account, that's not that big a deal. But if you have a $5,000 account or a $500 account, that's the worst thing that can happen to you. Like one trade and your whole account gets blown out. So incredibly important always to set the size to the smallest. Now, by the way, so this, you see how this chart is set to the smallest size, right? That doesn't mean that I have to accept that as my trading size. Suppose I want to trade 10 times bigger. I can just change this window to 0.10, right? And now I'm going to click this, and now my size is proper to whatever, to whatever I want it to be, right? 0.10. So size is a function of both your defaults and your desires, right? And I have set my default here to the tiniest possible size just to give myself full control. Now, on top of everything else, even though I've given myself full control, I have all these other charts that have been on here before I changed my size. And meaning that this chart, even though my default size is 0.1, this chart doesn't know it because I haven't reset it since my default size. And if I were to just simply, let's just do $yen because we want to do a different symbol, right? If I were to do $yen here, and I'm going to go to default here, I'm actually going to, and I go buy $yen, it's actually going to buy me at a full size because this is what controls the size, right? It's set by default to 1, and that's where it's going to be unless you're very, very careful with it. So now you can just blow it out and take it out. So very, very important to understand all that as you trade. That's why sort of like the best thing to do is once you've set your default, let's just close all these out. Close all this out. I'm gonna see I'm closing out all my charts. I just click on the tab, click close, okay? And now if I want to restart my charts, I go chart window, chart window, chart window, chart window. Oops. Chart window, okay? And by the way, one of the things you'll notice here is that the default size in the CFDs like the Dow and the NASDAQ cannot be 0.1. So when your default size is too small for the instrument, it will go to the smallest possible size, which in this case is 0.10. Okay? So you guys can kind of see that, right? Okay. So we've set the size to our default sizes, and we've done the kind of cool and easy trade of just clicking from the chart panel. By the way, some of you may be going, how do I get to this chart? Like, I don't have this. What I have is this. What I have is something looking like this, right? Do some of you have the look and feel like this? Were you guys not seeing the quotes, right? Maybe you have that. If you don't have that, then it's very, very easy to get the quote panel. You're looking over here on this little triangle. You click on a triangle and you get the quote panel. I absolutely love the quote panel because it just makes it so much easier to see the actual prices, quoting these sides. So if we have the quote panel, we have the chart, we have the quote panel. It's super easy to click on the sell, click on the buy, right, and then get rid of both of them. That's kind of a very, very easy way of trading, right? That's one way. Another way of trading is directly from the Market Watch window, right? So what we can go is, you see where I'm right-clicking on the euro dollar, and I have this menu choice called New Order, okay? So I'm going to click on New Order, and I bring up, let me just bring it since my other window. So I bring up this window, and in this window, I get an order, euro dollar, volume is 0.1. But here on this ticket, I can change my volumes. I can change my volume to maybe 0.5 if I want to, right? And I have order types. It's a market order or a pending order. So let's just say I'm going to go market. And let's say in this particular case, it's 154. I want to put a stop loss at just 119 and take profit at 120, right? So that's just, I put my stop loss, I put my take profits, right? And I have market execution. And I want to go buy market. I'm just going to click buy market. And now I've created an order that has risk control wrapped around it. It has a take profit, it has a stop, and it's floating in the marketplace. Okay, at the size that I want. So that's one way. It's another way of creating an order. So I'm going to close this up, and we can do the exact same thing from the ribbon window. You see where it says here new order? It's the exact same function. Exact same function. We have the stop. We have the euro. I can choose this time. Let's say I want to choose a full big. Well, no, I don't want to do this. Let's say I want to choose, and I can manually change this, by the way. You can actually make it completely like obscure value, like 23. I can buy 23 units. And this time, let's say I want to put a stop loss at 119.30 pips, and my take profit at 119.57 pips. Just for argument's sake. And I'm going to buy more at too tight a stop here. Let's put it at 160, 67. Okay. So, oops, I say okay, and I say buy market. Oh, maybe it's not letting me take it too tight a profit. Okay, let's just try and do this again. New order, take profit of 119.87. Stop loss at 1940. Okay, buy market. Okay, great. So same idea. I've created an order flow, and the ticket is there. Now, what if I wanted to modify my order? What if I wanted to just modify this? I can modify my order by clicking on this line and saying modify or delete order, right? Now, if I want to modify my order, I can change my stop loss. So let's say I want to change my stop loss down to 1930, right? And my take profit to, I don't know, 1977, okay? Modify, okay? Everything's been modified, okay? So this is okay, right? Like it's cumbersome. I mean, it's obvious. It's not difficult to do. You click on the order, you hit modify. You can modify all your settings. You can do you can do all sorts of stuff, and it makes it relatively easy. One other thing you could do, by the way, is you can modify by points. So if I wanted to just modify by, I guess, 20 points here, right? So that would be copy as 1952. I wonder if this is going to let me do this. I'm actually curious. Now I'm really curious. 20 points, 63. No, it's not going to. It's too close. So it's going to be like 200 points, right? So that I can do, and I can do 150 points. And now I can just modify this, and I can modify them on a point-based basis. Additionally, I can click on here, and I can just close the order too. I can close the order this way, right? So all this functionality, enter, put a stop, put a target, modify a stop, modify a target, close, all very much possible. I can also have two other types of orders. I can have a limit entry, meaning I'm going to buy underneath the market, or I could have a stop entry, meaning I'm going to enter above the market if the market rallies into that position. So let me show you how to set that up. And to do this, we'll just use the new order button. It doesn't matter. We can come in from any angle, but we'll use the new order button. And we'll create, let's say I want to buy Eurodollar on a retrace at, let's say, so I'm gonna hit pending order, okay? And the pending order is going to be either a buy limit or a buy stop. So in this case, I'm going to try to buy underneath the market. So I'm going to basically buy at, just for argument's sake, 119.40. Okay, I'm going to buy underneath here, and I can also put an expiry on this thing, so that means this order can expire or it'll just be good till cancel. And then I put a stop underneath here. So if I buy 1940, I want to stop at 1900. Oh, sorry. Oops. I'm the world's worst typist. Sorry. New order. Pending order. Buy limit at 1900. Sorry. Oh, we said 1930, right? I wanted to 1930. On 1900. My stop is going to be 30 points below, and my take profit 120. Just for simplicity's sake. I'm going to place this. And now it's sitting here waiting. And if the price comes into 1930, I'm going to be a buyer. I'm going to be a buyer of this trade. And once I'm in the trade, I'll have a stop at 1900 and a take profit at 120. That's my limit order, right? That's my limit order. So if I'm on the buy side, the limit order is always underneath the market. And if I'm on the sell side, let's do a limit order to the sell side. So I'm going to close this out. And let's say I want to sell this at 1970. So I'm gonna go new order. Again, I'm gonna go pending order. But this time we're gonna do sell limit. And at price of 119.70. My stop will be 120. And my take profit will be 119. Okay. I'm going to say place. Okay. And then I'm going to close. Now I'm going to show you something cool. The software is pretty smart, and it doesn't let you make wrong orders. So here we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to do Eurodollar pending. Let's just do the same. I'm going to sell limit, right? You're going to sell limit at 119.70, right? And the thing I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to put a stop loss at 11900 because obviously that's underneath the market. I put my profit at 12000. Sorry. I'm going to change my stops and profits the wrong way, right? And so I'm going to sell limit. I'm going to put my take profit at this. I'm going to place, and it's going to say invalid stop at take profit, right? It's telling you no. You got it all wrong. So the software is pretty smart. It tells you if you've made a mistake in your stops and limits, and doesn't let you do it. Okay. So now we got that. Okay. So now, however, I want to do, let's say I want to do a sell stop. And obviously sell stop is going to be underneath the market. So again, if I were to say sell stop at 1970, let's say I'm just going to place this, it's going to just say no, you're wrong. You're above the market. Your price is above the market. But if I were to say this at 1920, I'm going to sell this at 1920, right? And now obviously my stop loss has got to be above this 120, and my target is 119. As long as I do this, right, I'm going to place this, and boom, now the software will wait for the price to come down to 1920, and if it does, it's going to sell at 1920. So you have a choice of buying market, buying at limit, selling at limit, selling at stop, and buying at stop. Selling at stop means you are looking for a momentum trade. You're looking for a price to start falling and you want to follow, you want to sell weakness, or buying stop means you're looking for price to rise and you want to buy strength. Is that clear to everybody? Let's make sure that everybody's got that fully understood. Is that good? So now we've done chart setup, we've done buying, we've done selling, we've done pending order entries. And you've seen that, you know, it's well done. It's easy to kind of understand this. It has all the protections and loopholes that protections in the software that doesn't allow you to make wrong orders. So it's all very, very good. But keep in mind that this is actually a little cumbersome, right? And just to entice you a little bit, before the end of the course, I'll be sharing something with you that's going to make this whole process immeasurably easier and much easier for you to do with the special tools that we've developed. But for now, this is how everybody in the world, except for you guys who have access to these special tools, buys and sells on MetaTrader 4, okay? Point and click, setting up stuff. When do you use the graphical window in the order window? I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean by graphical window. Oh, you know what I forgot to tell you? What I forgot to tell you is, sorry, there's one, Henrik, you just reminded me of a very important function that everybody, a lot of people like to use, because a lot of people like to use it. I hate using this, but there's a lot of people like to use it. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna buy $1, okay? I bought it. You see, like there's a little line over here, right? And now I'm gonna go modify my order. I'm gonna modify my order, I don't know, by 200 and 150. Say modify. Okay. Now look what's happening here. This is my take profit line, and then I also, if I compress this, where's my stop line? Okay, here's my stop line. Sorry. So this is my take profit line. This is my stop line, right? So one of the things that's cool about MetaTrader is that you can drag and drop. You got to actually grab these things. Oh, God, this is what I always have a hard time. You see me grabbing it, and now I'm moving my stop lower. I'm moving my. You have to just actually grab it, and I have a huge cursor here, so I gotta get it on the right thing. Let me see if I can get it. You see how sometimes awkward it is. And again, I'll be able to show you ways to completely sidestep this tedious process, but I can't grab the thing because my cursor is too big for you. I made the cursor so huge that now I can't get my thing on there. Okay, here we go. And now I've grabbed my my take profit higher. So you can do this visually. You can do it visually. It's a little awkward, but you can actually adjust your stops and targets visually like this. It's kind of cool, right? Kind of cool. So let's kill this. And now you know all the ways of doing it. You can do it with your keyboard, and now you can do it visually as well. Okay. All right. Now we have the last part of the course, which I really want to show you, which I think a lot of you really will enjoy. And that has to do with creating templates, portfolios, and saving settings. Now, the settings piece of it, I'm actually, I think I'm gonna actually, I'm only gonna do templates and profiles for you for right now, because the settings really requires scripts and EAs, and that's something we're going to do next week. So we'll save the settings piece of it for next week, because it'll be much more complementary to that piece of content. But for right now, so I have a template that I created like this, right? Let's imagine I wanted to create a template that had a couple of indicators on it. I don't know. Bollinger Bands. I'm going to take the Bollinger Bands, just drop it on here, regular, like this, right? Ichimoku, I don't know what the hell that is. What the hell is an Ichimoku Kyoku cloud? Whatever it is. Let's just make that. Is that an Ichimoku cloud? It's an Ichimoku cloud. Parabolic moving averages, you know, let's say a simple moving average. In this case, I'm going to make my style black. I'm going to make it super. I'm going to make it crazy like this, right? Right. So this is my moving average. This, by the way, I despise this. This is what's known as analysis by paralysis, where you have 20 different indicators on your chart, none of which really tell you of anything significantly of value. But we'll put on here just to show you all the looks. So I have like this splatter plot of stuff on the chart, right? And let's just say I'm actually going to call this splatter. I'm going to call this template splatter. So what I've done here is I've gone into this button over here. The last button over here is it's called templates. I click on the drop-down menu and I can click Save Template, right? And I've saved my template as the word splatter, right? Now, suppose I want to go to dollar yen. I did this on Eurodollar. So suppose I want to go to dollar yen, right? Now I'm going to just drop down my templates. I'm going to choose the word splatter. And look, the same ugliness comes up here, right? Now let's do something a lot more useful, right? Let's just do something very, very simple. 20-period moving average. I'm just going to drop a 20-period moving average as the only thing that I really want to look on my chart, right? Just for argument's sake, 20-period moving average. Or actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'll show you what literally the only indicator I have on my charts, the 26-period moving average, and I'm going to add one more moving average to this. The short period, this is a 12. Those of you, sorry, it should be exponential. So this one is exponential, 12 exponential, and actually, let me change the colors for this thing so they're not all the same. So 12 period exponential. I want that color to be red, for argument's sake. Okay, and now the black one also needs to be exponential. Just bear with me a second, guys. I'm just going to blow out of this NASDAQ trade. Actually, while we're talking, I'm actually in this NASDAQ trade, so I've been sitting on it for since we started, so I'll just blow out of it. So wait a minute. Let me just configure this the way I like it. I'm clicking on the actual thing. I want to modify it. 26 properties. I want this to be an exponential moving average. Those of you who know a little bit about indicators may realize that this is nothing more than MACD deconstructed. Ah, damn it. I gave it up too early. This is the problem. When I'm not paying attention, I left like seven points on the table right now on this trade, but fine. Anyways, the point being is, you guys can see. This is literally all I look. This is the only thing I have on my charts. I'll be happy to talk to you about my setups and everything else in the final part of our course. But this is a nice clean look, and let's call this, save this template as just Boris look. Oops. Right? So I've saved this template. Right? Now, suppose I want to get rid of this horrid, where was this thing? Splatter look, and I want to replace it with Boris look. All I got to do is choose Boris look, and I got nice looking template. So once I have it set up, I have a template. I can apply the template to any symbol, any chart, any way I like it. Is that clear to everybody? Does anybody have any questions on the templates? Yes, no, everybody's good? Okay, all good. All right, very good. Okay, so the next order of business that we want to do is something super, super cool, right? So I'm going to bunch up. I'm going to bunch up these. Let's just. I'm actually going to do. Let's do something a little bit interesting. Let's say I'm going to do a multi-time frame analysis of one particular instrument. In this case, let's do Eurodollar. Okay, so I'm going to do Eurodollar, Boris look, and Eurodollar on a 5-minute chart. Remember, I showed you last time how you could quickly change. In this case, it's .I. You can change the chart, the symbol on the chart. This time, I'm going to go 15 minutes, and here again, I'm going to just put my Boris look on here, right? Then I'm going to go. Let me just do one more Eurodollar chart window. So, and I'm going to get rid of all these other ones. I'm just going to do one Eurodollar because I want to show you something very, very cool. So I have a 15-minute, 5-minute, 15-minute. Let's go next to 1 hour. And we're going to apply Boris look to this. And let's go to 4 hour. Okay, apply Boris look to this. So what I have here is Eurodollar on multi-time frame analysis, right? I could even look at it this way if I wanted to. It's kind of interesting if I wanted to look at it. And what we see actually on a multi-time frame analysis is kind of interesting. On a 5-minute chart, it's down. On 15-minute chart, it's down. But on longer-term charts, it's up, right? So if it's up on longer-term charts, what we really want to do is the moment the moving averages cross over, even on the 5-minute chart crosses over to the upside, right? I want to get long. That's going to give me some confidence that the longer-term trend is up, and I want to trade that longer-term trend, right? It's kind of interesting to have that visualization all at once, and we can make a trading decision just strictly off of the price action that we're seeing. Okay, very cool, right? Now, what if I wanted to save this look and feel and be able to refer to it, anytime I wanted to? So here's something super, super cool. I can go into File, and you see this word Profiles, right? I can save this thing as Save As. Let me bring up the chart. And let's call it Euro USD multi-time frame. I'm not sure I can. I think I can do the dash, but I'm not sure. Let's just do this. Okay. I've saved this as a profile. Euro USD multi-time frame. Now I'm going to go back to my default profile, or let's say my I don't know market overview profile. Okay. So I have like a market overview profile. I'm looking at some nonsense over here in terms of charts. I have all sorts of garbage over here. And I go, hey, you know what? I really want to look at my euro. What if I want to look at my euro? Can I go into my euro multi-time frame? I'm going to go in here and look how cool this is. Now, do you think I could do the same thing with pound? Of course I could. Do you think I could do the same thing with yen? Of course I could. Now I have this ability to save all sorts of looks and feels that are relevant to my trading style and my trading philosophy in any way, shape, or form. And I can have multiple views and looks at a click of a button, at a simple click of a button. Yes, somebody's asking me, how do you display all 4 charts together? You see this little 4-chart window? If I click this, well, sorry, the way to do this is, so now if I click into a single window, I'm going to get a single window with tabs on the bottom. And just to make this even cooler, I'm going to just bring this down because we have it's a lot of space here. So what if I want to go to a multi-chart look? And by the way, it's not only 4; it's however many charts there are. It will put them into windows. In this case, it's just simply a 4-chart look that that I've left here. But you know, are you feeling me here? So that's all it is. It's just this little button over here, right after the magnifying glass, the plus minus, this one, right? And all it does is it goes into multi-layered windows. If I were to simply just, again, go big screen, right, it goes to single screen, and now I can bring it back to that four look, four view look. Okay, all right, Doina. So today we did the following things. We learned how to place buy-sell orders in a wide variety of formats, right? Just buy, sell, bought the euro, killed it. We've learned how to modify our orders. We've learned how to create templates, which we can then save into a look and feel on a chart. And most importantly, we learned how to bunch up a whole bunch of charts. And by the way, this can be infinitesimal. You can go to 20, you can have 20 charts in one single profile. I just simply don't have the patience or the time to kind of, endlessly do this. But, and I actually don't recommend you do it, because the more charts you put into a single profile, the more stress you put on the system, unless you have a super fast computer. It kind of bogs things down, and it's not necessary. You want to look at everything in its purest, cleanest, simplest form. If there's nothing that I think you guys are starting to get from the way I look at things, is that I reduce everything to its core essence. I am the enemy of complexity, because I think in trading, simplicity wins. So this kind of a look and feel isn't more than enough. Just create a different profile for pound, create a different profile for yen, create a different profile for NASDAQ. You're just as good to go. The point being is that this kind of a look and feel instantaneously tells you so much about what's really going on in the marketplace. I mean, we clearly can see that the dominant trend in the euro is to the upside, and that the short-term counter trends are simply opportunities for better entry, for entry into along with a trend. So like, right now, for example, euro is 57 on a 5-minute chart. If it closes, kind of holds the moving average here, that would not be a bad possible trade to the upside, because it would suggest that we have a chance to go higher. Does it guarantee? Of course, it's never a guarantee. You could always have, the trends could be ending. You could say, oh, yes, it looks like it's an uptrend, but if you actually look at the 4-hour chart, you're starting to see the beginnings of weakness, on the 4-hour chart. So I'm not so sure you really want to get long. But generally, the way to bet is with the broader direction of the overall trend. And right now, like, if I was buying euro, I'd be long. I'd be long here. And I think, with the stop over here at 19, what is that, 50 underneath here on the 5-minute chart is fine. It's either making a turn on the short-term charts that's tradable, or it's not. But I have a lot of confidence, at least, that the longer-term trends are my way, and I want to be around this. If I want to give myself a little more leeway, I want to clear the 15-minute area, so then I would maybe put my stop at around 1945, like sort of a 20-point stop. And if it comes all the way down there, then clearly these trends are starting to fail. So and honestly, the best, and we'll talk about this if you guys want a little bit later. The best places, the places where we try to get in on trends, is when they're beginning. Just when the long-term moving averages start to cross to the upside, that's when you want to be positioning, to that side of the market, because there's something big going on. Anyways, it's just a way of interpreting the market. The point being is that MT4 gives you the incredibly easy way of doing all of this stuff, providing all of this information. How do you make the font larger on the whole chart? You don't. I don't think you cannot control the fonts. Those are Windows functions. You can't control the font. Like, these numbers, I'm not sure, but I don't think those numbers can be controlled. It's a common, yeah. There's no way to do this. Um, get a bigger screen is the answer. Is there any way to change the pairs of all the windows so you don't need many profiles? Well, you can do it within. I mean, then you kind of defeats the purpose of the profile, right? Let's say you want to change all of this to the pound. The next time you bring that profile up, it's going to just show you pound, right? There is no way. If you're asking me, is there a single click method for me to change all these windows to pound? No, there isn't. It's an old program, doesn't allow you the kind of flexibility that you want. Basically, if you want to say, oh, I want to look at pound thing, so that's why you set it up ahead of time. But once you do it once, you never have to do it again because it's saved in your profile. Okay. What are the black and red squiggly lines? Moving averages, my friend. Where you been, Robin? I've been talking about this. It's just simply moving averages. It's the 2012 EMA and 2026 EMA. It's just what I like to look at. That's the MACD moving averages. Okay. How big is my screen? My screen is 36 DPI by 2100, whatever. It's 27-inch screen. It's big. Definitely helps. Definitely helps. So yeah, look, MetaTrader 4, everybody knows, is not a charting software. You want beautiful charts, you go to TradingView. The beauty, the power, the strength of MetaTrader 4 is all going to be disclosed to you guys starting next week, right? The beauty of this software is not its ugly Stalinist chart building capabilities, which were built in 2005. We all know that. You don't trade MetaTrader 4 for its charts. You trade MetaTrader 4 for its intelligence. And next week, we're going to start to explore the intelligence behind this software and the unbelievably cool, very, very valuable things that this software can do for you at a click of a button. So I'm going to show you all that stuff starting next week. We get into scripts and EAs and all of the intelligence that the software carries. Any final questions? How many screens do I use when trading? No problem, Robin. How many screens do I use in trading? On this particular computer, I have a laptop with 2 additional very large screens. Then I have another computer that has a laptop with 3 very large vertical screens. It's not necessary. My partner trades with 1 screen. I'm day trading, so I'm looking at a million different things, including communicating with everybody and on Twitter. I need a lot of screens. If you're position trading, there's no reason for you to have a million screens. Screens are very cheap. Like this whole setup right now. Well, the laptop obviously is expensive. I recommend the Lenovo ThinkPad laptops. The mid-range model is fine at $1,500, per. It's an excellent model, but that is, to me, the X390 ThinkPad is just a workhorse. I really like that as a PC. And I'm using 2 LG monitors that are 27-inch monitors that are like down to $350 each on Amazon. I did use the Mac before, but for MT4, because now I use a lot more algorithmic trading, I have to run MT4 all the time, and MT4 is a Windows-based program, so I've gone back to an all Windows environment. The Macs are pretty, but they're pretty useless in the financial space. So, and ThinkPads are actually very good. I'm super happy with ThinkPads. So the Macs are back to my daughter's domain. All right, guys, I got to run. Thank you so much for everything. I'm glad you guys learned a lot. Next week, you're going to learn so much more. I'm going to show you the magic. Next week comes the magic. Right now, we saw the basics, but I hope you guys will all join me for next week. We'll really start exploring the magic of MT4. Thank you guys so much. I'll see everybody next week. Everybody have a great day. Take care.